just name it. Lumba has a song for each and every occasion. And to lose such a mastermind, a lyrical genius such as Lumba is quite heartbreaking. And so our hearts goes out to the entire family and, of course, all who are affiliated and associated to Charles Kwadwo, a.k.a. Daddy Lumba, a.k.a. DL. This morning, we wish the family strength, and we ask that the good Lord himself will console them, even as we continue to condole with the family. We understand that a book of condolence has been opened both at his home and at his radio station, DL Radio, and so the general public can pass by and sign off in that book of condolence. We wish the family strength. May God be with them, keep them, and of course, console them. That said, it's quite heartbreaking, quite devastating, but we need to move on with our business of the day. And so we want to remind you that for all the updates, including updates on the passing of Charles Kwadwo and, of course, what the family will be doing in subsequent days, go onto the Google Play Store and download the ChannelOne News app. Quite an easy process, okay? The interface is quite easy to navigate. And so download the ChannelOne News app and you can get all the updates regarding all the stories that interest you and beyond. Now, on Sundays at 6:30 p.m., we'll bring you the Volunteers TV show right here on ChannelOne Television, where we get to share the experiences and, of course, live the experiences of people who have engaged in volunteer work and, of course, what they have been doing. It will also help to inform you on when, why, and how to volunteer and be part of any volunteerism activity that may be happening in and around you. So tune into the Volunteers TV show every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. with your host, Stephen Kweku Daku, and learn a thing or two about volunteerism. Let's now tell you what the papers are saying today. I'll start off with the Daily Graphic. Front page says, Army deploy forces in Bawku. Government evacuates students from Bawku and Na Lerigu. So that's the major story. Army deploys forces in Bawku. Government evacuates students from Bawku and Na Lerigu. Then you have the DL story. It says Ghana mourns Daddy Lumba. Also them. History beckons Ghana in EU FLECT license. Parliament ratifies 131 timber utilization contracts. History beckons Ghana in EU FLECT license. Parliament ratifies 131 timber utilization contracts. IGP visits Aswase after killings, orders a thorough search of vehicles. IGP visits Aswase after killings, orders a thorough search of vehicles. Then you have COA responds to clinical trial publication. COA responds to clinical trial publication. Let me go to the back page, and then, of course, there's a celebration on there because the women's national team, the Black Queens of Ghana, won bronze in the WAFCON. And so the story says, WAFCON, Black Queens stun South Africa to win bronze. Black Queens stun South Africa to win bronze. That's the Daily Graphic newspaper this morning. Ghanaian Times is here. Ghanaian Times says, government gets tough with Bawku conflict, moves from peacekeeping to peace enforcement. 2 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew imposed on Bawku, Na Lerigu, and its environs. Government gets tough with Bawku conflict, moves from peacekeeping to peace enforcement. 2 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew imposed on Bawku, Na Lerigu, and its environs. 1,200 excavators impounded. 9 red zone forests repossessed. Lands Minister on Galamsey fight. 1,200 excavators impounded. 9 red zone forests repossessed. Lands Minister on Galamsey fight. NLA DG picks award for boosting national lottery revenue. Then you have 3 students shot dead at Bawku and Na Lerigu. 3 students shot dead at Bawku and Na Lerigu. When you go to the back page, you have the Black Star Marathon to be added to tourism calendar. That's President Mahama speaking. And then you have Black Queens clinch WAFCON bronze. That's the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Daily Guide. Daddy Lumba dies at 60. Tears flow. It's a sad one. It's a sad one. Really sad one. I mean, this man at the inaugural Ghana Music Awards won Artist of the Year, Album of the Year, Most Popular Song of the Year. This was in 2000. He repeated the same feat in 2003 and went to repeat it again in 2008. 2015 rather, but in 2008, the state recognized him as a national treasure and conferred honorary awards on him. It goes to tell you how important this man was and how dark his loss or his demise is. It leaves a very dark space in Ghana's music industry. And so we should all join in with the family with one heart to commiserate with them. Let's console them and let's wish them strength in this difficult time. Daddy Lumba dies at 60, tears flow. National Youth Festival set for August. 2 Nalerigu SHS students shot dead. NLA boss wins leadership award. Speaker and Parliament endorse KGL's CSR feats. That's the Daily Guide newspaper. I'll bring you the Chronicle. Chronicle says, attempt to oust Osahene from ECOWAS Parliament fails. Attempt to oust Osahene from ECOWAS Parliament fails. Yohunu's 132-day crusade, cross-border crimes tamed, promises to replicate the strategy used in Asen North in Akwetia as well. Okay. So how come we didn't see that at Ablikuma North? Anyways, let's look at the scripture for today. It's taken from the book of Luke, chapter 12, the verse number 48. Everyone to whom much was given, of him much will be required. And from him to whom they entrusted much, they will demand the more. Everyone to whom much was given, of him much will be required. And from him to whom they entrusted much, they will demand the more. Luke 12:48. May the Lord add his blessings to the reading of his word. Let's see what the Herald is saying. Police officers lament IGP's disregard for retirement protocols. Quote, we are all hurting inside. Cops speak out as morale crumbles. Police officers lament IGP's disregard for retirement protocols. We are all hurting inside. Quote, cops speak out as morale crumbles. Daddy Lumba walks off live stage at 60. NPP backs Owuo for Akwetia by-election as NDC opens nomination. EC sets September 2 for polls. So on 2nd September, we're going to Akwetia for a by-election, and we'll see how that pans out. NPP backs Owuo for Akwetia by-election as NDC opens nominations. EC sets 2nd September for polls. Moving on, NLA chief receives top leadership award. GNPC Deputy CEO urges UG graduates to shape policy and uplift communities. NPA partners stakeholders behind 24-hour petroleum economy. That's the Herald newspaper. The News Center says NPP to close flag bearer nominations on August 28. NPP to close flag bearer nominations on August 28. 3 students killed in Bawku Nalerigu SHS attacks. 3 students killed in Bawku Nalerigu SHS attacks. Over 2 billion cedis SNIT funds under threat. Over 2 billion cedis SNIT funds under threat. 3,161 acres of land valued at 851 million cedis encroached. 1 billion cedi loans locked up for more than 10 years. 192 houses idle 6 years after completion. And when I say we have a problem as a country, people don't get it. Make this make sense to me. That people will teach 40 years, 30 years, and go on pension and receive paltry sums. and the one to whom we have entrusted our pensions. This is how they are handling our monies. Over 2 billion cedis SNIT funds under threat. 3,161 acres of land valued at 851 million Ghana cedis encroached. 1 billion cedis loans locked up for more than 10 years. 192 houses idle 6 years after completion. Make this make sense to me. Ghana mourns Daddy Lumba 200 songs back-to-back hit maker. When you go to the back page, EcoBank Ghana to plant 1,700 trees to restore cheaper forest, and MTN Foundation promotes digital skills at Youth Summit 2025. The new publisher says ECOWAS Parliament, Osahin is Deputy Speaker till 2028. ECOWAS Parliament, Osahin is Deputy Speaker till 2028. It goes on to quote an article. Let's look at some other stories. IGP runs to Kumasi over Swansea shootings. 3 SHS students killed on campus. Axle load stations under attack. That's the new publisher. The Ghanaian publisher says Afenyo Markin remains in ECOWAS as a 3rd deputy speaker. Bawku SHS closed. Government deploys military. NLA boss wins top leadership award. Then you have 500 in Swarm drivers receive free licenses from MP. The MP here is the Minority Chief Whip, Frank Ano Dompre, Member of Parliament for Nsawam Adwejiri. So that's the front page of the Ghanaian publisher. Bring you the Custodian. Custodian says, Akufo-Addo Bawumia, NPP mourn Daddy Lumba. Minority foils NDC's coup in Parliament as Mama Pat backs Afenyo Markin. Minority foils NDC's coup in Parliament as Mama Pat backs Afenyo Markin. Axle load stations hijacked. Millions lost as government remains in the dark. Axle load stations hijacked. Millions lost as government remains in the dark. Samira Bawumia launches award scheme for SHS students. Ano Dompre gives 400 free driver's licenses to constituents, fulfills campaign promise. The Republic Press says NPP showdown begins as party releases timetable for flag bearer race. NPP showdown begins as party releases timetable for flag bearer race. Bawku on fire again. Government orders urgent evacuation of students from conflict zones. Bawku on fire again. Government orders urgent evacuation of students from conflict zones. Mahama Akufo-Addo honor Daddy Lumba as nation mourns music icon. Bawku Senior High student shot dead on campus. First Mpox death recorded in Ghana. 23 new cases confirmed. First Mpox death recorded in Ghana. 23 new cases confirmed. Give us 30% of district assembly seats. Oti Chiefs propose power and revenue sharing. Give us 30% of district assembly seats. Oti Chiefs propose power and revenue sharing. To some business news, and I'm taking this from the Economy Times, government to step up public spending in second half of 2025, but total expenditure for the year cut. Education sector is biggest beneficiary of Mahama's first 6 months in office. Education sector is biggest beneficiary of Mahama's first 6 months in office. Islamic banking a catalyst for Mahama's big push and Feed Ghana initiatives. That's attributed to Professor Gachi. That's the front page of the Economy Times newspaper. Let me take you online. I'll take you to ChannelOneNewsOnline.com. ChannelOneNewsOnline.com. Nalerigu MP demands a swift probe into killing of SHS students. Nalerigu MP demands a swift probe into killing of SHS students. Military deployments in Bawku just a stopgap. That's security analyst Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso speaking there. He says military deployments in Bawku just a stopgap. Nalerigu tensions. Take your personal safety seriously. GJA to journalists. Nalerigu tensions. Take your personal safety seriously. GJA to journalists. 2025 WASI. Practical exam fees settled. That's according to the Ghana Education Service. 2025 WASI. Practical exam fees settled. Attributed to the GES. He is a brother. Kojentwi mourns Daddy Lumba. He is a brother. Kojentwi mourns Daddy Lumba. Now when you go to Bawku, says government evacuates students from conflict-hit areas. Government evacuates students from conflict-hit areas. Government deploys military to enforce peace in Bawku as violence escalates. Government deploys military to enforce peace in Bawku as violence escalates. First Mpox death recorded, 23 more cases confirmed. First Mpox death recorded, 23 more cases confirmed. Then you have Bawku SHS temporarily closed following student killing. Bawku SHS temporarily closed down following SHS student killing. Government reviews Bawku curfew hours amid security advice. Government reviews Bawku curfew hours amid Security Council advice. Naimos storms Bole Bamboy, heavy equipment seized. So the Naimos actually is the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, and we understand that they've embarked on an operation in Bole Bamboy in the Bole Bamboy, where some heavy equipment have been seized, but more importantly, we understand some 11 Chinese illegal miners have also been arrested. So yeah, well, we hope that the duplicity of these task forces is corrected. Some sanity is brought in the sector, and then these operators or persons who engage in some of these illegal activities are picked up. And of course, the financiers behind these operations are also picked up to help bring some sanity in the mining space. Now let's move on to some other stories, also from ChannelOneNewsOnline.com. Gunmen kill 2 students at Nalerigu SHS. Gunmen kill 2 students at Nalerigu SHS. And then you have Kojo Choice appointment a diplomatic game changer. This is attributed to a governance think tank. It says Kojo Choice appointment a diplomatic game changer. All right. So that's on ChannelOneNewsOnline.com. Like I said earlier, you can download the Channel One News app, and then you have access to these stories and more. And of course, you can literally carry the news along with you, because now you have it on your phone by way of the Channel One News app. All right, let's jump to citynewsroom.com and see what's happening on citynewsroom.com. Political interest sustaining Bawku conflict. That's attributed to Dr. Vladimir Nchidanso. He's a security and international relations expert. Political interest sustaining Bawku conflict. In some business news, Bank of Ghana's MPC begins review of economy today to guide policy direction. Bank of Ghana's MPC begins review of economy today to guide policy direction. High lending rate a concern as importers and exporters push for immediate reduction. High lending rate a concern as importers and exporters push for immediate reduction. T-bill auction oversubscribed by 96% as yields decline across all tenors. T-bill auction, government sees 96% over subscription. Now, Daddy Lumba is here, and this is a feature or an article by our own Fred Tete Jabano, and it's titled Daddy Lumba, the voice that echoed through Ghana's historic 2008 elections. Daddy Lumba, the voice that echoed through Ghana's historic 2008 elections, Fred Jabano writes. Let's move on to some other stories. And minority demands urgent briefing on rising insecurity. Minority demands urgent briefing on rising insecurity. Nalerigu Gambaga MP condemns killing of SHS students as barbaric, demands justice. Nalerigu Gambaga MP condemns killing of SHS students as barbaric, demands justice. Again, Nalerigu curfew largely ignored due to poor coordination. Same MP speaking there. He says the Nalerigu curfew is largely ignored due to poor coordination. When you go to the Northeast region, GJA urges journalists to prioritize safety amid curfew in Nalerigu. GJA urges journalists to prioritize safety amid curfew in Nalerigu. GES releases funds for 2025 WASI practicals. GES releases funds for 2025 WASI practicals. And then you have Presidency assures befitting burial for late high life legend Daddy Lumba. Presidency assures a befitting burial for late high life legend Daddy Lumba. Again, we commiserate with the family. Our condolences to the family. We wish them strength in these difficult times. We pray that the Almighty God, who himself knows best, will keep them and, of course, shine his face upon them. Go on to the Google Play Store, download the ChannelOne News app, and have access to all our stories, all our current affairs, political, entertainment, showbiz, lifestyle, sports, business stories on the go. You can literally carry it along with you because now you would have the app on your phones and you can have access to these stories on the go. This is Breakfast Daily here on ChannelOne Television. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll begin the news review segment.
It's love from in Africa, in Ghana. Jaja seals and signs delivered. He is the first Ghanaian.
Or you can send your messages via WhatsApp. The number is on your screens. We're live on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on X. Tweet at us using the hashtag Breakfast Daily. Let us know your thoughts, your comments, and your contributions to the show. I have two gentlemen in the studio with me. I'll do a quick introduction, and then we'll get into our business for the day. Elvis Darko is here. He is the editor of the News Center newspaper, as well as newscenter.com. Good morning, Elvis. Good to have you. And then the Honorable Collins Adomako Mensah, Member of Parliament for Efijakwabre North, is also here, former Deputy Energy Minister. Good morning, sir.
Morning, bro.
Good to have you. It's been a while.
Yes.
Hope all is well.
By God's grace.
Yeah. Well, you had some sad news over the weekend.
Yes.
Lost someone close to you.
Yes. I think it's part of the topics.
Exactly.
Conflict,
Yeah.
Sure
So let's start from there. It appears there's this growing level of insecurity in the country. We've heard of the shooting in Bawku, in Lerigu, in Aswase, Denase, and all. And you happen to have had a personal experience losing someone close to you to a robbery and a shooting incident as well. Really, what could be happening?
Good morning to you, yourself, my co-panelists, and to our viewers. It's been a very tough week for me. On Thursday, I had a chat with this particular lady in question. She's been a part of my campaign in the constituency. Where the incident took place is the beginning of my constituency, Danase. That ushers you from Kumasi, ushers you into the constituency. The lady lives in Ahinkro, which is a town, just 2 towns after Danase. She indicated to me that she wanted to further her education. And of course, as a member of parliament and with her dedication to my campaign, I offered to assist. She decided to buy nursing forms. So I think she bought one for Mampong Nursing College and that of Salaga. She had gone for an admission interview at Mampong 2 weeks ago. And she was to do another one in Salaga.
Right.
So she sent me a message on Thursday to inform me that I should be leaving to Salaga, you know. And then Friday morning, I get a call from the assemblyman for Ahinkro, who tells me that Peggy has been involved in an accident. So I thought it was a very normal accident. Then he calls me back after 5 minutes to say that we lost her. So initially on my Facebook page, I thought it was a robbery. You know, subsequently, I got to know that it was a spillover from what had occurred at Asamwase, where the Kusasi chief had been murdered, cold blood murder. Very unfortunate situation. Unfortunately for Peggy, she was in a bus with one gentleman, a group from the other faction thought was part of the gang that perpetrated that heinous crime at Asamwase. So they had targeted the bus right away from Kumasi, and they had people stationed at Danase. So when the bus got to Danase, they started shooting. Unfortunately, Peggy, who has absolutely no link to this whole Kusasi, Mampusi thing, she's even a Fafra. She doesn't come from anywhere near those areas. Unfortunately, met her untimely death. And very young lady, very, very vibrant, very, you know, trying very hard to further her education. Very, very unfortunate situation. I visited the family over the weekend on Saturday, and your guess is as good as mine. I mean, the father, the mother, everybody shattered. You know, the whole community has been thrown off gear. The best I can say is to wish the family condolences. And I hope that the perpetrators are quickly brought to book. I saw the IGP in Kumasi and his team in Kumasi over the weekend. I'm sure they are there to ascertain for themselves at first hand what actually is going on. On Friday also, there was another shooting, another killing, also in Asawasi again. And my fear is that this may spill over to other areas, because there are Kusasis and Mampusis all over the Ghana, you know. And in my constituency, for instance, during the elections, I had Kusasis who were supportive of me tell me, I don't know, we can vote for you, but we can't vote for Baumia, you know. And why? He said they have instructions to a certain line, you know. Unfortunately, politicians, we've meddled in this this Kusasi Mampusi conflict for a very long time. Key politicians making public statements on these issues, and I hope that what we are seeing now in this 7 months should be a lesson to all of us to be circumspect in what we say, how we say it, and when we make those utterances. Otumfuo is doing his best to ensure that calm is restored. I mean, I don't remember when a student can be dragged from school, killed, filmed, you know, and it's all over social media. I think we have to be careful. I mean, and this Bawku crisis is getting to another level that I'm not too sure everybody anticipated it to be. Today they're under curfew. Economic activities will be done, gone. I mean, how do you survive, you know? And the 2 students were killed.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I mean, gang men enter a school, get students, kill them, film them, you know. We need to be careful. We need to be careful. And I'm just hoping that the security agencies will, as quickly as possible, bring some sanity within that space. I'm told the military has been brought in.
Yeah.
The students have been evacuated. Let's hope that these measures will, in one way or the other, calm tensions down. But I fear for reprisal attacks, you know, because once you kill Peggy, once you kill the Kusasiki, once you kill somebody, I'm sure the other family members may rise up, if not today, some time to come. And you need to be careful.
Very well. Thank you, Honorable. Let's say good morning to Comrade Elikem Kotoko, Deputy CEO, Forestry Commission. Good to have you.
Good to be here. Good morning.
Thank you for joining us. Good morning to you. Elvis, let me come to you on the issue of the what appears to be a rise in killings in recent times. Ashanti region, Bawku, Nalerigu, IGP has been to Aswase. Government says it's deployed military. It says it's moving from peacekeeping to peace enforcement. Is this the strategy? Will it work? And of course, the spillover that we are seeing.
Will it work? Well, we don't need to be told a protracted history of this particular conflict, how long it has lasted, and the number of lives that have been lost. I was checking on to see what is the damage so far, and I found that from November 2021 to April this year, over 300 people have been killed as a result of the Bawku. Yeah, over 300 people. November 2021, where the conflict escalated again till April this year, over 300 people have been killed. So if you look at the toll on human life, it's quite worrying that all this number of people have been killed, and still we are still experiencing this conflict. And as rightly said, it appears that the conflict is now being extended to other locations where these 2 tribes live. I think sometimes we just have to say it's 36. The day the IGP went there and his car was fired on, clearly was a signal that there's a challenge to the power of the state. And I think the peace enforcement should have started at that point. Because if people can have the courage to shoot at the vehicle of the IGP, it's a very dangerous signal.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why we waited this while. I believe that if the security operatives actually look at what has happened, they may be thinking that maybe that was the right time to do something about the situation. After the IGP left the place, there was even a circular around that policemen have been withdrawn from the within this short time of period. If you look at the event, it tells you that the securities are aware of the seriousness of the situation, but it appears they seem not to have a hold on what strategy that will work. And maybe after back and forth, maybe they are now convinced that, well, look, irrespective of the consequences, the military must come in to enforce peace. And as I think we've said here before, that you see, everything must be done to end that conflict, because the number of lives that are being lost alone must be concerned to everybody. And the fact that so long as there's conflict there, the entire economy of the area cannot function. And poverty will increase, because obviously who is going to be able to go to the farm today when even students on campuses are being dragged out, killed, and filmed? If you live in the area, even if you have a farm, you have to go to farm to even go and pick your food items. You think twice before moving.
Clearly.
Because clearly, the school campus is a more secure environment with a gate, with a security man and all that, and students can be picked up and murdered in such gruesome manner. They should tell you that if you live in that area, even to say you want to go to the market this morning to go and sell, you'll be thinking twice. And I think that it's something that every Ghanaian must be worried about. And as Honorable rightly said, see, when things about tribe happens, people are so passionate about their tribes, and people are so passionate about power, about who is the overlord, who has the right here, who does not have the right here.
Right.
And therefore, when we see those things happening and we realize that there are tribal issues, there are chieftainship, there are control issues, it's not something that we should entertain politicization of such a situation. Because the moment we bring a politicization, then it means that we are actually exacerbating what already exists. Because we are moving it from tribal and now adding political angles to it. And that also has a way of dividing the people further, because we know that politics in Ghana, for instance, people are so passionate about their parties and what they think they stand for. And as we've said, every effort must be made, okay, to make sure that that place has some peace. As somebody has said, and there are so many things that people may suggest. Should the place be, should the whole place be divided into two so that they become autonomous regions of their own, so that every region will have its own kin? Because the issues about who is to be or who should be the rightful overlord of the area, and the two tribes are all claiming that they are the rightful overlords of the area. So the question is, if the issue of overlord is the issue, the question, how best do we address it? Because if they are under the same jurisdiction and one wants to exercise power over the other, and the other believes that, no, you don't have the right to exercise power over me, for which reason they decide to resort to violence and gruesome murder, will dividing them into two and say, look, now no one is under the other, and that as we speak, you have your own region, you have your own autonomy, these are the people under you, and therefore that nobody is under or is controlling the other. Will that work? It's something that we need to consider. Will a rotation, an agreement to rotate the paramountcy among the two work? Is something that should be considered. I think that a whole lot of suggestions and proposals and ideas need to be considered, and maybe along the way we may find one that is workable, that will bring the peace to the area, because a life lost can never be replaced. Yeah. And as long as more people get killed, more people will want to also seek revenge. True. And that is why it will be difficult to stop it. And that is why everything has been done to make sure that the killing of people, at least, is brought under control. Because in a period of from 21 to November 2020 now, it's just about 4 or we are in the 5th year, November maybe 5 years, and we are talking about over 300 people deliberately killing other people, and over 300, and those are the ones that are actually documented. Yeah, there may be many of the deaths that are not even documented. So the 300 we are even talking about may even be more. So the question is, why should this be happening? And as a state, we will still not be able to. I think the military enforcement, in fact, at the time that the AGP went there, that was shot, and I said it that I think that was the time to make sure that we do the peace enforcement in the area. And I think that... But
what would this enforcement entail?
Oh, it will just make sure that people's movements are curtailed, restricted, and people don't have that opportunity to be able to commit crime. And that's why a curfew is being imposed.
And if, 2 p.m. to 6 a.m.?
Yes, and if you are living under a curfew of that nature, it's going to be so difficult for you to have any meaningful life, okay? Now, schools have been closed down in the community. Assuming you are in the community and your daughter or son is enrolled in Nalerugu or in a Bawku SHS, and now the school is closed down, your child is home. School terms are gone. You can't even move your child to another community to go to school. So probably your child is going to miss a year or two of education Because if this thing prolongs, the school is not open on time, their mates will move on once they are home. You understand? Their mates, I'm talking about in other regions and other places where there's no conflict. But every student of the Bawku, SHS or Nalerogo will not have the opportunity to graduate with their colleagues at the same time, or write the WASI with their colleagues at the same time, because war has forced the closure of the place. Even going to religious places to worship will become a problem. To be difficult for people to have the freedom of worship. Freedom of men is curtailed. Almost everything. Now, how do you even move out as a trader to go and buy things from other communities that people need in Bawku? If they don't have it, then people need to travel to other areas to go and buy. On your journey, you are scared, because we've read of stories all over where cars are stopped and people are shot because of this Bawku conflict issue. So if you are a trader, you are the one supplying certain items to the community, and now you are scared. How do you go and bring those items? So the whole community is going to live in need, and it will affect everybody. Both sides get affected by this. So their lives never get improved. Their economy never gets improved. Everything actually retards in that community. So what doesn't bring anything good? So I think this emotional attachment to we are supposed to be the overlord and all this, they should be asking themselves, is it worth the number of lives that they are losing? Is it worth the economic pain they are going through? Is it worth the disruption in their education, in their religion, all aspects of their life? Are they saying that the truth of the matter is that to be the one to control, to say I'm the one who is the overlord, I have the power here. Is it worth it to be fighting over that and deny yourself all these things of life? This is a question that I think that people should ask themselves. And all this leadership and things we are fighting over, the question is, to what end? To what end? If you are declared the overlord, to what end? What does it add to somebody's life? What does it take away from somebody's life? So we should leave these things behind and begin to ask that, look, as this attachment to we should be the right overlord, why don't you look at the fact that we want to be the economic power, we want to be the education power, we want to produce the best lawyers we want to make our community an attractive area to people. Why don't you rather focus? Why don't you focus your energies towards but rather you are looking at the deterioration of the entire area because of this conflict, and all you are interested in that at all costs, I must be the one who is in control. And I think that if they ask themselves the rightful questions, and if they look back at where probably their great-grandfathers came from, in terms of life, today they are alive, they should look at the future. They should look at the progress in the lives of other communities around them who are not going through this tribal conflict and compare to themselves and ask themselves, is it the future that they want to live for their children? That their generations will also come and it's all about fight, and their economic progress, social life, everything will remain backward. Is that what they want? I think that people should start thinking beyond that emotional attachment to I should be the overlord, and rather be thinking about what kind of progress are we making. Look, power and control is about money. The reason America is controlling everybody is because they control the money in the world. The reason why Western countries control poorer countries is because they have the money. Control is not about the attachment to a position. And it's not about I have guns. It's the main source of control in this world that people don't know. It's about how powerful you are economically. If you have economic power, you can control anything. In fact, that position you are talking about, economic power will lift you there. But you can have the power without economic power. Economic power will make poverty will make sure that you lose that position. So the economy of Bawku and look, if the state is to tell us that in the past 30 years, the amount of money that has been used to keep the peace in Bawku, probably Bawku could be Singapore or Malaysia if that money is invested in developing the economy of Bawku alone. They could be like Singapore or Malaysia because the amount of money, the military will just say we have deployed. Do you know the resource we are talking about? Fuel is moving. Human beings are moving. Places they have to sleep. Food they have to eat. Everything has to be provided by the state for them to, as long as they are there. The state has to provide everything that they need. That money could have changed the economy of Bawku. So why are we restricting it? Are we focus on our emotional attachment instead of things that will make sure that our lives improve?
Very well. Very well. Thank you. Comrade, Your thoughts? This is Bawku crisis. Now we are seeing it trickling down. There's a possibility of it spreading elsewhere because residents or indigents from these areas living all over the country.
Yeah.
Enough is enough.
Thank you so much. I find it very difficult talking on such matters because just like Elvis rightly said, life lost can never be regained.
Replaced. Yeah.
And some of these happenings are reasons why the West believes that we must practice what they are imposing on us called democracy. Because they feel their way of doing things brings more peace or lasting peace compared to what Africans do. And you see, when there are atrocities that are related to reprisal attacks, the tendency or the ability to nip it in the bud is very, very difficult. Because one faction feels that if you have taken a life of mine, I must also take two. Because I am taking one in response to the one you have taken, and the other one as a top-up to let you know that I can also, or we can also do more.
Right.
And this is so sad to say. We, to some large extent, one would have thought that if this were Stone Age, then we could say illiteracy plays a major part of this. But not at all. Just the same way you have people so adamantly loyal to something, somebody, no matter their education. This is the same way in the role, tradition, and chieftaincy or our internal traditional matters concern us. So even though I am not surprised, I am, however, disappointed that differences in opinions, differences in kinship, or differences in authority will continue to result into such matters. And painfully, the people who lose their lives mostly are not the very ones who even are at the forefront of such battles. It's the innocent ones.
Yeah.
It's the very people who sometimes may even be advocating for peace. I mean, come to think of it, I'm not sure there's a northerner here or somebody from that enclave. I am a Voltairean, a proud one. But I consider the northern part of Ghana my second home, especially even the Upper East. Reason being that from 2016 to date, I have been to that region more than 20 times.
Okay.
Politically, though, but even way back as a student leader. And the love they show to we, the other tribes. So sometimes I get surprised that if you can show me this form of love, if you can welcome me this way, why allow what maybe I would see to be a little or minor differences, even if it is huge? The fact that I can say something and you understand I'm a foreigner and still contain me, why can't you contain each other so we live peacefully? And it is very worrying, very disturbing, because look at the young students who were gunned down. I heard of some killings also in Ashaman. I don't know if I heard that over the weekend.
No, we cannot confirm that.
Okay, good. But there was some also in Ofinso. There was another also at the Asawase as well.
Yes.
And that involved a chief.
Yeah.
And you see, when we allow these reprisal attacks or retaliations begin to manifest, it becomes a very complex issue to handle. Because what it means is that no matter where you find yourself, so long as you're a Kusasi or you are a Mamprusi, you need to be on the red alert.
Yeah.
So you're walking and you have to be watching over your shoulders. You are going to bed and you don't even know who can come and break. No matter the security you feel you have, they may come in there. And we must just be able to tell them straight in the face that, hey, what you are doing is embarrassing. You are disgracing your own selves. And hey, at this particular point in time, Ghana needs peace more than ever. More importantly, because we even have a new president who is just 7 months old in government, trying to reset this country, trying to put things right. And again, to lay credence to what Elvis said, the more you do these kind of things, have you thought of the fact that you are in self-denial of a lot of benefits that could accrue to you? Because economic activity comes to a halt. Even your benefit or health challenges. Because if somebody is even ill, or you who is involved in this fight, you may have an elderly relation, your mother, your father, an uncle, or whoever, who needs to seek medical care.
Right.
But because of the circumstances, you are unable to do so. And again, in those places, the primary modus of transport is motorbikes and bicycles.
Yeah.
If there's a curfew, it affects you as well too. So even though you may think that it is infidelity to a certain traditional cause, you are again denying yourself one thing or the other.
Yeah.
However, this is not to rule out the fact that there's need for us to sincerely sit down and make sure that at the table we resolve these matters. I have always maintained that what the Western world has come to define to us as democracy is not what should be the case. And I have said this openly everywhere. But circumstances of this nature lay credence to what the Western world has come to tell us. Because in years past, our chiefs were the traditional authorities.
Yeah.
They sat back, we listened to both ends, and you see, because democracy always tells us that the majority does what? Carries the vote. But what if the majority are fools? They will still carry the vote then. They will still have their say. But the chiefs in our traditional settings will sit, listen to both ends, and realize that the majority are saying, let's go this way. The minority are saying, let's go that way. And in his wisdom, or in that traditional setting wisdom, they could tell that even though the majority want us to go this way, it is the wrong way. It is who are rather the wise ones. But if we continue to escalate reprisal attacks in these forms and traditional internal fightings and killings and all these things, then we are defeating the purpose of which we ourselves are saying that we respect our traditional authorities. Because I am not sure it is stipulated anywhere in any code, written or unwritten, verbal or non-verbal, that where there are disagreements and there is a deadlock, then the only result must be attacks, killings, or violence. I must again commend the eminent chief of the Ashanti, Otumfuo, and the others who are involved in these. I am not in any way suggesting that their efforts are not enough, but I believe that when issues of this emanate further, then it means that there's need for intensified action towards resolving the matter or towards the peace-building process. Because whilst government is doing its own, the traditional authorities must also do its own. And it again tells you and myself that that means our traditional authorities hold so much power. The involvement of the Otumfuo and the others, the names I'm unable to mention, which is why, tells strongly that government alone cannot achieve this. Government alone cannot yield the result, because the traditional settings also value some traditional authorities or linkages, etc. And so the Otumfuo's involvement also sends a certain signal. Hey, he is also an Ashanti. I would even be happy to also hear that even there are other chiefs who are also involved. It could be the chief of Anglon, the chief of Asogli, the Domaheni. All we need to find a lasting peace for this. But further, we need to also escalate the peace process. I mean, even if it needs some of our religious leaders. His Eminence Cardinal Turkson is also there. And all these people. We need to now put in everything. Because, look, I have been saying some things that many do not pay attention to. A gentleman who has been killed just yesterday probably could have been the face saver of my daughter in the near future. So somebody may even become a street kid in the next 10 years or 50 years or 20 years or become a dropout. It could be that that person who was killed yesterday would have been his or her savior had he lived to that time. So there are a lot of linkages that we all need to know, for which reason nobody should think that, in local parlance, extreme for no more one the jamu no munku so you know. Yeah. But these are things and realities, and they must know themselves. If you are at each other's throat, and in the end, from November 2021 till the 300 killings, the very leaders themselves are still alive and well, and they are thriving. Meanwhile, business has come to a halt. Economic activity is not moving on well. Development, you are being stifled of, because when even public and private people are, private businesses will not want to venture there. No. When public officials are posted over there, they will prefer to just be dismissed from work or be reconsidered and all of that. And we know all of this. Right. And they themselves know. We must only echo further that we are begging them that let them allow peace to prevail. And it has a very precious value compared to the violence they are visiting on themselves.
Very well. I'll take a few messages. This one says, good morning. This is Abdul Ganiu Mankarigu from the Savannah region, and you're speaking on the Bawku crisis. You say the conflict won't be solved by force alone. Honesty, fairness, truthfulness, and forgiveness are the real tools for lasting peace. We must speak the truth about the root causes, treat both sides fairly and respectfully, open, honest dialogue, and forgive to move forward. It's not about taking sides, it's about choosing healing over hatred. Bawku deserves peace, not politics. Okay, this one says, one of the solutions for the Bawku crisis is to have cameras installed along the roads and in certain strategic areas. They should also offer incentives for whistleblowers. Okay, those are your thoughts. Now let's move on to another matter which will have to do with the mid-year budget review. Honorable, I want to start with you, but you were not there when the budget was being read.
There's nothing wrong with it.
So have you had the opportunity to look through it?
Yes, I've taken my time to look through it. But as for working out in Parliament, there's nothing.
Oh, of course. I mean,
of course, it's part of parliamentary processes. I mean, you can decide to stay off. It's not new. It's happened in our Fourth Republic so many times. I was in the 8th Parliament, and it was a frequent feature in the 8th Parliament. So it's not new.
Right.
Others may disagree, but it's a tool that we have in Parliament.
True.
And then the minister came to fulfill a constitutional imperative. The Constitution says, especially the Public Financial Management Act, and joins him to come to Parliament mid-year to give us a review of a budget that he had presented to us. Well, budgets are normally presented in November, preceding year. Yeah. And so by the time budgets are normally presented, the minister will not be seized with end-year figures. And so the media review is normally an opportunity for the minister to come to Parliament, to Ghanaians, to inform us how the year ended, in the real figures. And also if there are some significant changes within the half year that might cause a change in some of his projected targets. It's an opportunity for him to come to also inform Parliament of those significant changes. And if it has to affect any of his end-year targets, he then requests for a review. If he also needs more money, it's an opportunity for him to also request for additional funding. Yeah. This time around, he came via motion. Sometimes they come by statement. Right. And when it's a statement, we don't debate it. We just do comments. I'm told he came by a motion this time around. What that means is that it's been referred to the Committee on Finance, Joint Committee of Finance and the Budget Committee. Right. So today, this morning, I am a friend to the Budget Committee. Okay. We are meeting this morning with the officials from the ministry to take a look at the media review that was presented. And then the business statement also says that there's going to be a debate on it today. Right. Because we are rising at the end of this week, I think they want to quicken the pace. Exactly. Yeah. So I'm sure they're just going to use today for the debate. Right. And afterwards, If there are any further action that has been taken, must be taken, we do so. But of course, I mean, the media review gave us some interesting figures. We've all seen some significant gains with our exchange rates. I'm very happy about it. I want to commend the minister and the government for the efforts they've put in to ensure that at least the official Bank of Ghana rate is still hovering around 10.2, 10.3%. The worry is that there seems to be some disconnect with the official figures and what is happening on the ground. Right. And that is where the worry is. And I'm sure the managers of the economy should quickly take steps to ensure they align the rhetoric with the reality on the ground. Because I've watched City TV go to the market to speak to a lot of the markets, especially those who
ChannelOne TV.
ChannelOne.
Yeah.
Those who deal with the dollars. And most of them are complaining that yes, the rate is 10, but the banks don't get them for them. So they have to resort to the black market. Interestingly, sometimes when you go to the bank managers will direct you to the they'll tell you that go here, we don't have you, go here. Right. And they are selling at 13, 13.2, 13.3, which is way higher than the 10 that the Bank of Ghana is quoting. So yes, the minister has come to Parliament to give us the official figures, but I'm saying that he should do more to realign with the reality on the ground. I wanted to do a transfer. This is a personal experience, and it took me close to about 2 weeks. Ooh. Yes, to have the transfer go through, because the banks, they just told me that they simply don't have the dollars to send. So yes, I'm happy about it generally. It's good that we have that kind of lower rates. I'm just hoping that everybody's complaining about stability. How long can that be sustained? If it can be sustained for a longer time, it helps with planning. It helps businessmen to also focus their attention on other things. Inflation has come down, which is good. Again, I've seen another disconnect with the drop in inflation and the prices on the market. Some prices, and I must confess, some goods have had a reduction in their prices. Others have not. This morning I was listening to City whilst coming here, and some of the traders are saying it's very seasonal. The price reduction normally happens within this time, depending on the product in question. But whenever you have inflation drop, it's a good sign. But I'm saying that government should try as much as possible to ensure that it's reflecting. Because if you read the budget and say inflation has dropped from 20 to 14 or 13, but the price of goods are still the same on the market. Some even have gone a little bit higher.
Does the government have control over prices of goods?
That's a very interesting question. But government must find a way, because we have this open market system where prices are normally determined by the demand and the supply. Government will be handicapped, but that is why government also has a duty. I listen to Ato, I call him Ato because of the kind of relationship I have with him, when he was appealing to the traders to help government also in these circumstances, that once they've seen a drop in the inflation rate, it should reflect. Some of the traders are also telling you that they have stock that they've kept for some time, so they want to sell it off before they come back to the reality.
I think the last time they met with the trader associations, they asked for 60 days, which I think should be ending August. Okay, so let's see how that pans out. But I'm just drawing their attention that the figures may look interesting when reading it, but if it doesn't reflect the reality, it becomes a challenge. Of course, he's a minister, he's a politician, so he dwelled more on the strengths of the budget, but he also didn't delve too much into the areas that everybody also wants. Some people also want to hear. Which are? Electricity prices have gone up by 17.2%. I'm sure he was not forceful on that point. That has also happened.
something also significantly happened on Thursday when you read the budget. When we returned on Friday, they had passed the Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act 2. So there was an Energy Sector Levies Act, ESLA. Then there was an amendment.
Right.
The first amendment.
Which introduced the 1 CD.
Which introduced the 1 CD. Not
Right.
just the 1 CD. It also introduced some 20 pesos on marine gas, marine oil.
Exactly, yeah.
So marine oil, which was selling at 3 pesos per liter, was increased to 20. It was increased by 20 pesos. So it became 23 pesos. On Thursday, under a certificate of urgency, that 23 pesos has now also moved to 1 Ghana cedi 93 pesos. Under a certificate of urgency, same Thursday. So immediately finished the budget, they tabled an amendment bill. It was the finance committee sat on it the same day. They reported back to the House, and they've amended what they amended just a month ago, and has pushed it from now original 3 pesos to 23 pesos. Now just 1 Ghana cedi 93 pesos. These are some of the issues. Yes, these are some of the issues that, of course, you may not have hammered hard on it, but this is the reality. Don't forget that for the first time, tariff adjustment, electricity tariff adjustment, included in the calculation now is the cost of alternative fuel, which has been added to tariff adjustments. So apart from the 1 Ghana cedi, which we were told that is going to help to, in all intents and purposes, to purchase fuel to power our plant for the IPPs, there's another component of it that is also being charged on your electricity. So now whenever you go to buy electricity, you should know that you're paying for the fuel that is being used by this IPP. So these are some of the things, these are the normal, some of the conditions that other people are also going through. So when you're making a very good gain on your exchange rates, so let's say exchange rate used to be 1 Ghana, 16 cedi to $1. Now it has come to 10. So you're making some 6 cedis profit. That 6 cedis profit that you're making, you're being told that you're going to use about 17.2% of it to pay for electricity. Don't forget that Ghana Water has also increased by close to about 4.something%. So those are the real challenges that others are also going through. Significantly is the introduction of the Fees and Charges Act. Government has tabled as part of the budget, mid-year review budget, the Fees and Charges Amendment Act, which is going to see a 30 to 40% increase in all state agencies' charges. And I'm sure my brother here may also make some comments because I think some of the fees affect his area. So now passport acquisition, if you want to have Ghana card, all those things are going to see an increase on an average, 30 to 40%. These are also some of the challenges that Ghanaians are also going to face. But by and large, he came to fulfill a constitutional imperative. I'm sure today there will be frank debate about it. Yes, it's made some gains, but as I said, they should do more to ensure that the gains they are making is reflected in our pockets.
Very well. Alikem.
Yeah. I want to commence by first and foremost commending the finance minister for not only walking the talk, but for once in our over 8, 10 or decade, we've heard a professional display of what is expected of a finance minister. He was not clad in white. He was not giving us Bible quotations.
But that's what you wear matter.
It does matter. It sure does. You and I know that when we see what is the symbolism of white in our community.
Victory, basically.
And what is the symbolism of black?
To mourn.
So when you have people deliberately clad constantly in white, giving you a certain narrative compared to... So I am happy.
But what if that's just my favorite color? I mean, I like to wear white.
So be it. But the accompanying Bible verses, which were a complete twist and total variation with the personality involved at the time that you and I knew, who has now been declared a fugitive. But I'm not sure that is a major matter for me, though. But it gave me some sense of relief that for once we have a finance minister who is very serious and taking Ghanaians seriously. Not one who was just thinking that he was governing with the Bible He was doing everything with the Bible, and it was Bible quotations that were going to solve the problems of Ghana. And we must face this fact as people. I do not know how you felt as a media person that we had a finance minister before who at every moment was quoting Bible verses. But when even he had the opportunity to go outside, there was no single Bible quotation he put out to the whites out there. And so is it that he felt we were so gullible? But that aside, Honorable Atto-Forson has demonstrated, like the Honorable MP said, a constitutional mandate or duty. And a mid-year budget is something that ought to be done in order to guide us and to inform us also from where we have come, where we have reached, which milestones we have been able to achieve, and where we want to head to. And yes, I am happy that he's been very frank with Ghanaians. And starting from a point of what he even suggested, that he felt that there are some, because he's a politician, there are some downsides he didn't hammer on. Well, it is in the light of building a stronger Ghana that many Ghanaians out there today will tell you they still believe that we are heading the right way.
Right.
And therefore, if a government has to take some drastic decisions as a result of the failed regime in the past, we need to bite the bullet. Why do you think that there will be the need for us to introduce certain levies in order to solve some problems at the energy sector? Because of the debts that have been accrued over a period. And we cannot run away also from the fact that there was so much gross mismanagement in the past. If you take, for instance, the revelation that over 4.5 billion was spent within 6 days from 1st January to the 7th of January, the IMF funds. What exactly was going on? And we had people in government who were so reckless that the dissipation of the public purse was just their wanton behavior, and they didn't care at all. But thank God we have a president in John Dramani Mahama who is confronting the challenges that face Ghana today and feels that there's a need for us to reset this country. And resetting this country is not for the NDC. It is resetting not for the only for the NPP. It is resetting for all of us Ghanaians and even the foreigners who find themselves in this country. And so I have very little to say, but just like he also alluded, very significant indices or evidence that we are heading the right direction with inflation dropping by the mere fact that efforts by the governor, the finance minister, and other major stakeholders, like the formation of the gold board, etc., have been able to hold the dollar stable for this period. Alone has saved us 150 billion in our public debt so far. And should that continue and we manage to even drop to a single digit, I am convinced that we will be heading to over 250 billion, written off, not by virtue of us even paying, but by virtue of the potency of our currency. And you see, one of the other reasons, some of our market women and people, it is a reason why I wish that we again reintroduce some kind of state-led distribution of food items or state-led companies, which would actually cause for food prices and other things to be fairly neutralized to come to a lower level.
Right.
But you see, I understand some of these traders also, which we all should, because in a very long time, they have hardly come across a government or a system where the dollar drops this much. And so they have some form of uncertain feeling that, hey, this is not happening. Let's observe for a while. So you hear some saying, we want some 60-day period before we can do this. Some even said 30 days. And aside that, the other concern also has been that there are many who have also taken wares and what's the word? Stocked them.
Yeah.
And so if I have gotten for my items at maybe X amount, let's say 10 cities, and at the prevailing rate at the time, and prices have gone down, if they should all immediately also reduce their prices, they will run at a total loss. And so it is sometimes, some way, somehow, understandable that appreciably, for a certain period of, let's say, the 30 days, 45-day period, these things will normalize. But it also depends on the purchase power of the Ghanaian. And so if the Ghanaians' purchasing power now seems to be more potent, then they can now see the need to go in there and buy 5 cartons of drinking water instead of the 3 they usually buy. It is also the reason why you now walk to shops in the ShopRite or other places, and they have begun running promos, discount sales. It is not because things are reaching expiry and all that, but it is because they have also seen the significant drop in the potency of the dollar vis-a-vis our local currency. And therefore, they also see the need to drop their prices. And so one way of doing that, because of some of the uncertainties, is to introduce discount sales, so that they still are saying, we are selling it at X amount, but we are giving you a discount which makes it Y amount. And so if after a period they also realize the consistency in the currency drop, then they can now say, let's now maintain.
Is it sustainable? Especially now that the IMF is asking that we watch the level of injection of Forex in the system.
It is one of the major reasons why I have consistently had so much confidence in Dr. Atuforsan. To tell you the truth, he knows what he's doing. And he is not one of those who would want to be gerrymandering or looking out for mantras or jargons to use to define a situation or what has been done. And you could tell he just wants the work done and let Ghanaians be the referees themselves. Get out there, and every Ghanaian, and when I mean every Ghanaian, those of us sitting here are examples ourselves. When you go out to the market or you go out to make certain purchases, where a gallon of oil or whatever that used to be, maybe 1,200 cedis, suddenly has dropped to 900. I recall a lady at Forestry Commission who was in my office, and she's into pastries. She said she sent her sister to the market to buy flour. I've forgotten the pricing, but according to her, it was supposed to be either 900 or 1,000 cedis for something, for the sack.
For the sack.
When the money she gave the sister was to buy either half or one. Only for the sister to call her and said the price had dropped and it was very, very low.
Yeah.
And the money she gave her could rather buy 2 sacks.
Right.
So she couldn't believe it. And she said she should buy the 2 sacks and ring it.
Right.
She bought the 2 sacks, brought it, and immediately she took money out to go and buy another. And these are the little things that matter to the Ghanaian on the street. And that is why when he said that there should be that correlation, so it reflects more in the pockets of the people. It reflects more on the streets. That is the intention. That is the motive, that the Ghanaian will feel the relief of a government applied and feels that there's a need for us to do everything to make sure that they do things. And that is why I found it very worrying when I realized that over 4.5 billion was spent within 6 days from the first day of January to the day of handing over. What exactly?
Right.
People should be. We should begin to be taking people through the process.
Elike, thank you. Elvis, I'll come to you on your take on the budget, but let me take a break here. This is Breakfast Daily. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll hear from Elvis, and then we'll go around the table one last time on the budget issue, and then we can move on. Stay with us. We'll be right back. In Parliament. Elvis, as your take now, we spoke about this budget and expectations last week, and we were clear that basically it was to, if you like, announce the gains made so far. But this policy, or if you like, initiative of the government ditching the dollar for the Ghana cedi, especially regarding contracts, is this something you saw happening?
I'll come to that, but let me just say, Atuforsan will be happy to go and present a budget at this time because all indicators of the economy are looking positive. So I will not take it away from him for being happy and touting what has been achieved.
Yeah.
I see, I always say when we are building a country, we should let nationalism be at the forefront of everything. Atuforsan read his budget in March. And in July, you present a mid-year budget. And you are taking credit for all the gains. It's not something that we should be entertaining. We should be telling ourselves the truth. Read a budget on Thursday. Friday, he went to sign a DDEP agreement with France. Then we must tell ourselves that the economy where it is going is what is expected based on the reset of the economy through IMF and the DDEP. All the indicators we are talking about were all stated there. And nobody will tell you that if at the time NDC took over office, the cedi was going up. No. The cedi was actually going down.
You mean the dollar, right?
The cedi was actually appreciating when the dollar was going down.
Coming down. Yeah.
So it's just a continuation. One, I'll praise him because right now, the governor, in terms of monetary policy and the fiscal policy, they seem to be going in the same direction. Right. And that's how economy is managed.
So they're marrying the fiscal with the...
So that's how economy should be properly managed. So when you manage economy like that, indicators look a little bit good. But when the pressure mounts, you see the economy, the monetary policy going left, and then monetary policy will be going right.
Fiscal.
And then by the time you see that, things have gone. So for now, that collaboration has to be common. But as I said, we need to admit that the painful DDEP, okay, is the reason the debt is going down. It's part of the reason why all that we are seeing is going on. So it did not just start happening because NDC has come to power. You see, when we tell the narrative and we won't believe in it, when tomorrow Atufo is under pressure by his party people to do things that will move the economy the other way, he will get a lot of support. But then when you want to take credit for something that it is not even your effort, when the pressure mounts on you that to go right, people will come at you. See, we all agree, we are building a nation for ourselves. So if you come to government and something is being done and you continue, just admit it. Just give credit. And then when you give credit where it is due, then you also get your credit where it is due.
Right.
But we are always fan of always want to take credit for everything. And when the NDC did it to the MPP did it to the NDC in 2017, NDC was all over the place crying that they took the Ghana to IMF. Every indicator started showing positive before they lost the leg. How come MPP came and they are taking credit for everything? They were not happy, which is which is genuine. But today, they are doing the same. And we cannot run an economy like that. Let's admit that whatever we are seeing today, they all started before MPP lost power. Because by the time we're done with the DDEP, by the time MPP lost power, we've almost completed the entire DDEP, okay? Right. So also there's something small to be done, okay? That is why after reading the budget, the following day he went to sign agreement with France. It is the benefit of the DDEP. You understand it? It's the benefit of the IMF program. If we want to build an economy, let's build a country, okay? And then we all be saying, this is what is happening. You see, right now, IMF says, reduce the dollar injection. All of a sudden, businesses are complaining when they go there, but they don't get the money. Because the banks don't generate dollars.
Right.
Every foreign exchange has to go to the central bank.
Right.
And therefore, if there will be dollar in the bank, it has to come from the central bank. So if the IMF now put fire on your buttons and say, reduce the injection, the amount we are giving to the banks will reduce.
True.
And if it's reduced, if people go to the bank, they can get the dollar. And if they can't get the dollar at the bank, then they have to look for individuals who have it or wherever they can get it. And that is where the rates go up. Because the person you are going to give you the dollar says, yes, Bank of Ghana says this. If you want the Bank of Ghana, go to the bank. And you go to the bank and there's no dollar.
There's no dollar.
So me, if you want to buy from me, this is what I have. You see, I'm saying all this because, you see, we have to insulate ourselves from certain things. That will help all of us. In 2012, 2013, we had a similar situation. In fact, after the time we ran to the IMF in 2014, our import cover was less than 9 days. We depleted our entire reserves. Why? Government has bills to pay. And government estimates that I'll make revenue from this, that to pay. But the moment that is affected and the revenue doesn't come, we have to start going to a reserve to make the payments. What happened in 2013 was commodity prices crashed. So all the estimates of government in terms of revenue had gone. In fact, oil prices dropped to $30 a barrel. And the public was agitating that we should enjoy the benefit. Tekwe said we can't enjoy the benefit. Because the gold and cocoa and the rest that we owe, everything is down. The oil itself, the projection for revenue is down. So he can't reduce fuel price at that time. He needs to make that money to be able to support the budget. Okay? And that's what sent us to the IMF. Because once commodity prices crash, Ghana's economy is in trouble.
Yeah.
Because about 80% of the exports from this country are from just raw materials like gold, cocoa, diamond. That is where we get the money. So once we have that problem, there's a problem. That's why we ended up in the IMF. Why did you go to the IMF again? When COVID came in, the expected revenues that the state expected, all of them reduced drastically. Meanwhile, additional expenditure has to be made. All of a sudden, we saw our economy go in a certain direction. We have to run back to the IMF. So when the IMF is cautioning us that, look, if today gold and cocoa are going up so how much that you are making more money, keep more in your reserves instead of using it to back your currency. In 2023, we spent $1 billion to back the currency in terms of artificially shoring it up by intervening in the market from the central bank.
Yeah.
In 2024, from January to September, we spent the same $1 billion, thinking we can manage it. But because election was coming, and then everybody was complaining about the exchange rate, the governor said, I can bring the dollar to 10 if I want. And people challenged him. He said, okay, we'll see what will happen. The central bank put in $2 billion in October. That is how come the city dropped from 16 to 14.7 at the end of December, and even January continue going down before the NDC took over.
Right.
So that $2 billion effect on the city was there because then the bank put so much in the bank that when people walk to the bank saying, I want dollar, it is there. It's out there. So the rate that the central bank is determining, people can get it at the central bank, at the commercial banks.
Yeah.
And that's what led to the city coming down. The city's drop within that time alone saved the state about 110 billion. Okay. So then the NDC came and they realized that, look, if we don't inject more, just as the previous government started, the city will continue to go back. So per the IMF's report, 1.4 billion was generated in the first quarter. We've not even seen the second quarter. So it's possible that by now we have injected about 3 billion to support the local currency. And the IMF says, look, yes, it's your money. You want your currency to be strong, but see, the base for currency being strong is not injecting dollars into it. It's about productivity. But if you're not doing productivity, you are exporting raw materials, gold, cocoa, and the rest, and their price is going up, you're making more money. You don't know when there will be a possibility of a crash. So the best thing is, instead of using it to support the currency at this time, reduce the intervention to support the currency, but rather put more money in your reserve. Okay. So that in the effect that tomorrow we wake up and then these prices crash on the world market, pay your bills for revenue that you expect that will not come. You can manage because you have enough in your reserve. And then maybe doing regular interventions to be able to support your currency can also be done. And therefore reduce the intervention. You see, when the intervention, what it means is that the banks expecting the dollars from the central bank has reduced because if IMF says you have to reduce because now you're under a program with them. So it means that if the banks have the dollars, they'll give it to you. But if they say, we don't have it. The central bank has not given me $1. And now there's a complete reporting system. So any amount given to you by a commercial bank, whoever the money has been given to and all that, and their documentation you have to submit to central bank. So what it means is that if we stop politicizing currency and we say as a country, we think if we build our reserves to $30 billion or $40 billion, maybe every month we can support the currency maybe with $100 million or $200 million. By the whole year, we may be just spending less than $3 billion to support the currency, but our reserves are about 40 or 50 billion. So in the event of a crash in commodity prices, we can fall on our reserves to pay our commitment, and at the same time, have some to maintain the dollar, the cedi. Because you see, at the time that your currency has fallen, commodity prices have crashed, that is where the impact your currency is going to be problematic. Because then the inflows from forex has reduced drastically. So you don't have enough in the system. So if your reserve does not have enough, what it means is that you're going to run into trouble. Look, in 2019, Ghana's reserve was around 9.6 billion. When we lost access to get additional money from the capital market and donors and the rest, because it dropped from 9.6 to 2.6 billion. That's how the dollar, that's why the city was running like the same boat. Because then inflows were not coming. Now, government has to make payments from the central bank, our reserves, and at the same time, find dollar to make sure that the city doesn't run. You can't find enough to support the city because you have bills to pay. Right. So then the city has to be running and running and running. And that is why when at this material moment that the gold is going at the commodity price, the most important thing is to make sure that we save. And if as a country we can decide that if we have 40 billion in our reserves, maybe even commodity price crash for maybe 5 years continuously, we can still manage our currency, then we will. And you see, today, if we intervene so much and we are all enjoying it, it's good. The same way when we are hit and we don't have to intervene, then it hit all of us and we all cry.
Right.
So instead of us going to that steep up and steep down, the most important thing will be to have stability, a way that will make sure that supporting the currency regularly will be there. And then we boost up our productivity. You see, your currency strength depends upon your productivity, production. Right. So if by the end of the year or by the end of next year, we can say we've cut import of chicken by half, we cut import of rice, sugar, and because now we are producing more of that in the country. That means that the dollars we need to go import those things will reduce. Then the pressure for dollars will reduce, because at the end of the day, it is dollar that you import. Dollar is still responsible for more than 80% of all trade globally. So whatever transactions you are going to do with any country, even if it's the European country, you are going to use dollar as the benchmark to trade. So manage our economy in a way that will make sure that we don't go that steep up or steep down. It's what we should be focused on. But the steep up will be happy, and steep down will all cry. And it has happened to us for this Fourth Republic. It has been the case. So currently, we are. I would say everybody's happy. When I go to buy fuel, it's down. I'm happy. But it means that if we continue the intervention and now prices hit, the same oil price I'm enjoying today could skyrocket and I'll struggle. So I've always said that, look, when we are managing our economy, let's give credit to whoever anybody has done very well. And you can talk about payments, 4.5 billion. Why is IMF complaining? We owe people we are supposed to pay as a government. Government owes so much money. Outside the 4.5 billion, he knows the debts. The budget, Atufo said, he inherited about 65 billion worth of debt to pay. They are doing auditing. As at now, the audit has approved 28 billion. And that's what money is to be paid. And the money he's talking about that has been paid is the reason why you see certain road projects resumption. It's the contractors that have been paid. That's why they're back to site, because before that time, you realize that almost every contractor has abandoned site because we didn't have the money to pay. We were waiting to complete the DDEP and with the donors, the Eurobond, so that we can start getting money. So there was no money. But the government realized that I'm leaving power, which is what we do. If they should have left it for this to come, it's okay, we can't pay now. But the government is leaving power. So, okay, we have mobilized all this money. We want to leave it for the next administration. Okay, then the contractors we owe, as much as we can pay, let's pay. That is what has resulted in those payments that he's talking about. The point, and see, that's another politicization of the economy. See, if government MPP was not able to pay and you lose the election and you mobilize some money, is it right for you to pay all those money within that short time? Is it not better for you to say, okay, yes, we owe this, but the records are there, but a new government is coming, rather let's leave the money, let them come and do their own audit and accept that this is a genuine bill, and they let them pay. But then, because the government thought they were leaving office, they paid. So and these are the things I think that if we take out of our economy, we take out of the managing the country, it will help all of us. Because now you see they are paying that over 4.5 billion within 6 days. But I'm sure that if they are leaving office tomorrow, they have money, they may likely repeat the same thing, because what they complain about, it was done in 2016 when they lost elections. And they defended it. NPP today is defending why they make last-minute payments. These things, we all know that they have impact on the economy. So why is it that we cannot agree that, irrespective of who is losing power, who is coming, let's continue with the same methodology so that we can have a stable system, rather than this system where we go up, we go down. It's like one step forward, two steps back. And I don't think that the economy management will help in that manner. So I said that the budget is nice, the indicators are pointing at the right direction, but credit to whoever started it, you are continuing, was important. But Atufo was really silent on the credits as to what the previous government had done, and that they are continuing. The reason they also have to take credit is that they are continuing what the previous government has done. If they are changed and are doing things the other way, probably the benefits of the city and the rest we are seeing will not happen. Because they are a government, they could also decide that what the previous government set aside from 2022, we don't think it's the right. We want to do it this way. And you could also have set that negative. So once the positives continue in their era, they also have to take some credit. As I said, if you read your budget in March and in July, you are presented a mid-year budget, obviously a lot of the gains are not because of your 3 months implementation of your budget. And let's take that politics out. Let's see the economy as you say, if the price go down, it doesn't know NPP or NDC, all of us benefit. If it goes up, it doesn't know NDC or NPP, all of us benefit. So why is that we will not manage the economy the same way and say this thing doesn't know particulars, but it will affect everybody. So let's do it in a way and manner that irrespective of who is in power, we are on the same direction.
Right. Thank you. Honorable, quick one. The decision to ditch the dollar for the CD in government contracts.
I don't have any problem with that. I don't have any problem. I mean, some transactions can be in dollars, but once you are giving a contract to a Ghanaian contractor, I don't think it's a bad initiative. In fact, all governments have fallen short with that. I mean, previous government used to give contracts in dollars. The NDC 1 and 2 used to do so. But I'm happy they've taken a decision to pay in CD. But I'm sure most of the contractors, some of the materials that they use in their work are imported. And so definitely in negotiation, they would like to peg, even if it's in CDs, they would like to peg it as per the current exchange rate. And anytime they are making some losses, I'm sure in most of the contract, it will be possible for them to go back to renegotiate that loss and then have the contract sum renegotiated. But by and large, I think the aim of that is to ensure that we do a lot more transactions with our legal tender, which is the Ghana cedi, so that it doesn't become dollars. In fact, I think government should even go further. And there's been similar directives before, but I'm not sure it was well implemented. Where you go to the even now, as I speak to you, if you go to some of the hotels, they still charge in dollars. True. Some of the hotels, they still charge in dollars, and even some of the Airbnb. Yes, just this 2 weeks when we're having our conference, when I get a place for the executive from my constituency, one Airbnb, they were quoting in dollars. You know, even a simple Airbnb. So maybe the directive should be more to permeate a lot more sectors within the economy. That our legal tender is the Ghana cedi, and so a lot of the things should be quoted in Ghana cedi, just to help strengthen our currency. I don't have any problem with that at all.
Very well. And again, contrary to the perception we had that the government was not spending, the minister says government is spending and spending in the right places.
Exactly what I was coming to say. But before then, I had wanted to inquire. I mean, what is this whole narrative that credit be given to the previous administration for what exactly? Who made us go for this DDEP? Who gave us these haircuts? Who got us there? And so where were we before you took us there? And was it not evident enough that there was reckless misconduct? There was misappropriation. There was no recourse for processes. Are we not even finding out now that this whole gold for oil, whatever, was just monies being thrown somewhere, amongst other things? And you think we should treat these matters with velvet gloves when somebody mounted stage in a jocular manner and was telling you and I that he has arrested the dollar or the cedi and given the key to the IGP? Let's stop. Let's see. This is pure hypocrisy. There were people who were just praising themselves in self-denial of they being misfits in handling this economy for 8 years. And you want us to now believe that it is just by reason of this process of the DDEP that has resulted in the gains that this government is making? I take total exception to it. And just to put that in tandem with what you were saying, there were very rife speculations that Atufosun was not spending, government was not spending, and that was why the dollar was performing, amongst other things. He has demonstrated that he knew where to spend. He was spending at very critical places. I had listed some here: the school feeding, even the free SHS, the capitation grant, the Eurobond, nursing allowance, no fee stress, the national apprentice program. These are all aimed at making sure that there will be gains made out of that. But if you want us to recall how they were spending in the past, you can recount some scenarios and you wonder if this was a government or it was just a regime. And so let's face fact. It is not to say, however, that they never did anything. But whatever the previous administration did was never any close to anything significant for one to be calling for even an applause or recommendation or any form. Let's face facts. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who was the head of the economic management team, at the time they formed even the 42-member team to deal with the dollar, the CD depreciation and all that. What happened? Let us not try to make us revisit the scourge that was visited onto us, the arrogance that was visited onto us. You recall even the president himself, he was in total discord with the government. Was it not the president who came to tell us that there was not going to be any haircut when Ato Forson said so? Today you want us to give credit? What credit? If there was any responsible government and anything responsible to do, by now we should start hauling them before the courts for their reckless misconduct. But at the right time, because there's no need to hasten these processes. Look, let us face fact. There's a government in place that is doing the right things. And it is not even trying to take credit for what it is doing. It is only saying that it is doing what is expected or it is mandated to do. And so in the discharge of that duty, where again lies the coming into force of need to give credit to a previous regime for what exactly? Who took us to the DDEPs or for us to have the haircuts? And so Ato Forson has just demonstrated that unlike the square peg we had in a round hole in the past, he is not one. He is very focused, determined, and understand the root causes of our problems. Recall, for instance, when Bank of Ghana was requesting for some further financing. What did he tell them? That your assets are well enough. You can find a way to even make some money out of that. That is pragmatic and professional discharge of duties. And so if we do not take these things, I'm not sure that we are rather making headway. It is just rather trying to find avenues to say credit is due everybody. Yes, everybody played a role. Even the person who sits aloof and does nothing has also played a role by not doing anything.
Thank you. Elvis, back to you.
The Adam's argument is just the same politicization. The point is that he's created a piece of money. What is the state of the economy in 2019 before COVID? It was far, far better than whatever NPP inherited from the NDC. So if you are saying that they managed the economy reckless, that means that from 2022 the economy should have gone reverse. But the economy never went reverse. The economy was moving the positive direction. Go and check the 2019 figures before 2020 COVID came. So this argument is, yes, there are instances you mentioned. As you said, at the right time, those who have done the wrong thing, let them go to the court and let the court speak on the issue. But the collective work done, you can't take the credit. Is this saying that Ato Forson can say that without DDEP, without a reset of the economy, these figures can be achieved in 3 months or 6 months? It is not possible, unless you not look at the economic figures we are talking about. So if the situation is bad, yes, they were in government when it was bad, and they took steps to correct it. And you said they should not be given credit. How on earth will you say they should not be given credit because it happened under the during the attack?
On the CD for contracts for me.
No, I think it's our legal tender is CD. So it's just a reiteration of what the norm should be. But see, the truth is that though your legal tender is CD, you are an import-dependent country. And therefore, almost everything you need in this country are importing. So the private people who will now bring in the things for us to buy will always need the dollars. And as long as the central bank will not be able to provide enough for the commercial banks to give to people, there will always be trade within the country. So, you see,
unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Our time is up. They are driving us away. But thank you so much, gentlemen. This has been good. We'll find time to do this again. This has been the News Review segment here on Breakfast Daily. Don't go away, though. The show continues after this.